You know what, lives? Not every mistake starts with an action. Sometimes, the most devastating failures begin with just a single thought. This is the story of Ion, a young man who had big dreams and seemingly limitless potential. Ion came from a very humble background. His father was a simple school teacher who always taught him, "Son, success isn't about how fast you move, but about how honestly you walk." Ion took these words to heart. He was incredibly intelligent, hardworking, and disciplined. All his teachers saw his spark and truly believed he would go far in life. After years and years of relentless effort, he finally got the break he was waiting for. It was the greatest opportunity of his life. A job at a prestigious company. And quickly earned the respect of his colleagues and superiors. Everything was going perfectly. It felt like his dreams were finally coming true. But slowly, quietly, a dangerous enemy started to creep into his mind. That enemy was greed. One afternoon, while reviewing a financial report, Ion noticed a small error. It was insignificant, really, but in that moment, a thought sparked in his mind. He realized that if he just adjusted a few numbers here and there, nobody would ever notice Sandy could pocket a little extra money. It started as just a thought, a silent, tempting whisper. "No one will ever know. It's just this once. You've worked so hard. You deserve this." Ion tried to push it away, to ignore the voice. He reminded himself of his father's teachings, but the thought kept coming back, stronger and more persuasive each time. This is how most of our failures truly begin, not with a bad action, but with an unchecked thought that we allowed to take root. That night, Ion couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned, his conscience at war with his ambition. He remembered his father's words about walking honestly. He thought about his long, hard journey to get to this point. But greed is a very loud voice, especially when our discipline becomes weak. The next day, sitting at his desk, Ion made a choice. He opened the file, and he changed the numbers. At first, nothing happened. A day passed, then a week. No one questioned him. The fear he initially felt began to fade, replaced by a sense of relief, and then confidence. He had gotten away with it, but that newfound confidence slowly morphed into carelessness. He did it again. And then again. Each time, it felt easier. The whisper of greed had turned into a familiar companion. Then, one day, everything came crashing down. It was a routine internal audit, something that happened every quarter. But this time, they found Italiano. The small discrepancies he thought were invisible suddenly stood out like a beacon. Ion was called into his manager's office. The man who had hired him, who had seen his potential, looked at him not with anger, but with deep disappointment. He simply sighed, "We trusted you, Ion. Skill is something we can teach. Honesty is not." In that single crushing moment, Ion lost everything. His job, his reputation, the bright future he had worked his entire life to build. It all vanished. Walking home that evening, the city lights blurring through his tears, Ion realized a painful, devastating truth. It wasn't one single action that had destroyed his life. It was one single wrong thought that he had failed to challenge, a thought he had allowed to grow and fester until it consumed him. Months passed. Ion had to start again, right from zero. But this time, he was different. He was wiser. He learned that true self-control isn't about controlling the world around you. It's about controlling the world inside your own mind. He made a solemn promise to himself that he would never, ever ignore the voice of his conscience again. Years later, Ion did become successful once more. But this time, his success was built on a foundation of solid rock. Integrity. He often shares his story with young people, just starting their careers. And his message is always the same. It is them, watch your thoughts, because they become your choices. Watch your choices, because they become your habits, and watch your habits, because they ultimately become your destiny. His story serves as a powerful reminder for all of us. The most important battles we fight are not with others, but with the thoughts inside our own heads. I have a question for you all, and I'd love to read your honest thoughts in the comments. Have you ever lost something important because of one wrong decision or a single thought you let get out of control? More importantly, what did that experience teach you? Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please give this video a like and subscribe for more content that makes you think. Until next time, take care.